Well, Stephen, you had a very successful career in New Zealand, over 500 winners before you decided to make the move to Singapore.
Yeah, that's right, Simon. So that was, I think, coming up 13 years ago. So I've seen a lot of changes in 13 years to my life and to here.
You would have. So you made the move over in 2000. What was the reasoning behind that?
The reason behind, I just saw the future here as a good opportunity, and I spoke to my father, and Ray New Zealand Racing was heading at the time. He just felt, well, you can always come and try and always come home, and also I wanted to do something for myself. I just didn't want to be in the background of your father, successful father situation, and thought I'd come for a few years and make a few dollars and go home and buy the neighbour's farm, and I've stayed here a lot longer.
No doubt you've seen a lot of things happen, a lot of change over those 12 years in Singapore. It's come a long way.
Yeah, it has come a long way. It's changed a lot and dramatically, I suppose, in a short time, and it's all been pretty positive, actually.
The makeup of your stable, you've managed to attract quite a diverse range of owners from all around the world.
Yeah, it's interesting. A lot of my owners now are from New Zealand and Australia, and some from South Africa now. So my biggest base, 80%, would be expat owners overseas and expat locals. So I've seen that a bit of a change, and maybe a little bit of concern because the new owners here haven't sort of come through as they probably should. I think it's a changing of the guard locally. So that is a little bit of concern. There's a lot of people out there that probably don't know much about racing, but I'm sure the next young generation, it will change. You know.
On a positive note, there's certainly some good incentives to race here though in Singapore with the prize money and rebate structure.
Oh, definitely. This is the best racing model in the world to me. You know, you one course, you race here, you train here. It's subsidised, you know, by the club, vet fees. I'm sure you've been told by all the other trainers it's a perfect. I race horses here myself, and to be honest, if I went home one day in the future, I'd still race horses here.
You've had some good success in your time here. A Derby winner with Limbs Prestige, and horses like Given Vision and Gold Chats. Yeah,
we've had some pretty good horses over the years. You know, Bridge and I came here very young, so we've had to grow through it, and the bigger owners all went to the sort of the bigger name trainers, and we've chipped away and had some really good horses with small owners. Most of my owners have been two horses, so now we've done pretty good. You always like to do better, but that's what keeps you in the game and keeps you driving.
Well, I think it's a testament to you because you've always managed to be in the top sort of percentage of the trainers here, so yeah. Obviously, you know,
yeah, we have. You know, like we're pretty proud of what we do for what we've had, and you know, we've always been there, and you know, the bigger trainers here, the most successful, have big owners to support them with numbers, and it's a numbers game. And I sort of work on longevity and look after my horses, and just give them so they hang around a bit longer. I haven't got the big numbers flowing through, but we've got a full stable, so no, we're very, very proud of what we've done. Done extremely well. I'm very thankful for it too.
A lot of New Zealand bloodstock in the stable. I think that's probably a testament to the quality of the stock that comes out of the country.
Yeah, well, that's interesting. We have a lot of New Zealand, they have a lot of Australian horses, but I think New Zealand and Australia are much the same now. We got Australian horses bred in New Zealand, and the money my base comes from New Zealand. I think that's mainly economics because of the dollar and the follow-on costs. But this last year or two, I've bought a lot more in Australia because we had a lot of speed racing here. And then we have a poly track, so I needed speed. So I had probably too much stout, mile or 2,000 metre horses, trying to look for the classic horse. And then I realised that, I need speed because the money is in here is going through the grades. You know, you get a young horse going through the grades and they get a level, they win a lot of money. So that's what I've bought a lot more Australian. South African horses, well, it's a bit of that stigma of getting them out. I like to go there because I think it's very similar to New Zealand, but the protocol of getting them in here is not easy, and you know, I get on very good with the South African trainers here, and there's good horses come from there, so that is another opening that could be viable. You know, it all comes down to cost, so probably I buy a lot of New Zealand horses, to be fair.
You've got quite a good setup and with your farm Copperbelt back in New Zealand. How does that work?
Oh, well, that's a thing that Dad and I, we own the farm together, and my father still trains, and he's carried on thinking I'd come home one day, and he's 76
and stud, whom he has trained
fit
6
to me, and he's done an amazing job, and we're extremely well-known family in New Zealand, and that works good because I have a few horses there get prepared. but it's a bit hard getting them in there now. So I own the farm, but it's hard to get the horses in there. So, but that's a big part, and Dad trials a lot for me, and then gives them a rating, and then we bring them up after that. So, yeah.
Communication's obviously a big part in your stable. I've seen you've got a great website, and it's obviously very important for you as far as keeping in touch with your owners.
Yeah, it's interesting. I have a system that's designed by Gary Crisp from Racing and Sport Tons, and every fortnight I send me updates, and then pre-race, post-race comments, and then all my owners know their horses when they're nominated. And so I started that a couple of years ago, and that's been a big help, because I'm a great believer in communication. I'm very approachable, and people can ring me anytime, and I think that's important. But that's like any business these days. You've got to have communication, and it's the same here. A lot of my owners are overseas, so they just want to know what's going on, which is fair enough. And I'm big on communication.
And like so many of the trainers here, it's a family affair with your wife being involved in the business as well.
Yeah, well, my wife does all the books, Bridget, and she looks after the business side of it, and I do all the talking, and she does all the kids. So I'd be in trouble without Bridget. So there's a great saying in it: "Behind every good man, there's a good woman," and Bridget's fantastic, and everyone knows her here, and she's terrific. So we don't have a secretary; she does it all. So. It's a big part of it. And I think that's important. That's important for my lifestyle, what we like. We do everything together. We're a close-knit family. We've got our kids, 2 children, James and Katie, have been born here. So we've grown through the system here. They go to an international school. We do everything together. And that's one thing I do like about the place here. You get time with your family. Whereas when I was growing up with Dad, we never had holidays. We never had time together because we were travelling and we were working, and it's just different. It'll be the same. All the trainers in Australia, New Zealand, South Africa say the same, and that's one thing I love about the place, is we get a lot of family time. Apart from the family, what does Stephen Gray like to do with his spare time when he's not at the track? Oh well, I love my rugby. I'm a keen rugby man, and was a good rugby player and a good supporter of rugby. So I like to go and watch a few games of that. And I'm not a golfer. I'm hopeless at golf. But I think I do my horse, and I spend a lot of time with the kids. So if I can go and watch their sport, which they're very good sports kids now, they do a lot. I probably spend a lot of time with them. And what are a couple of horses we might be able to keep an eye on from the Stephen Gray stable moving forward? Well, I have a very nice horse winning the weekend, a horse called the Great Grey. I think he can be a Singapore Cup horse. I think he was impressive first time over the ground Friday. I got a couple of very, very good young horses coming through. I had a horse on Sunday, Mr. Magnus, that was very unlucky. I got a lot of time for him, and it was disappointing. He got cleaned up on the straight. But I've got some very nice young horses coming through. It's been a bit of a rebuilding for me. I had a lot of local owners, and I just decided I had to get a better class of horse, because with Michael Freeman coming, bringing those horses from Australia, and Pat Shaw and them, they're always buying good quality horses, and Laurie spends a lot of money, so you got to try and keep up. So I went and bought a lot more yearlings. So the trial market got harder, so I've just bought a lot of young horses, and I've got some really nice young horses this year and next year. So the next 2 or 3 years will be big for me. So I'm very, very confident about the next 2 or 3 years, and I'm very buoyant about it. So put a lot of money into it myself, a lot of time into it. I've got a lot of new clients offshore, so I'm pretty confident the next 2 or 3 years will be good.